And we are live. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a weird one. This is a weird one. As you can tell, I am not where I should be. I know, it's disappointing. I don't have the pro camera set up. I've got this. The audio works, hopefully. If it doesn't, let me know. There's no music tonight. That is what it is. I am on the road. I am actually out of town for a shoot, and I'm in a hotel, and that's pretty much the gist of it. But hey, I've got some photos from yesterday's video, the Polestar video, and I'm gonna edit them. So yeah, let's do it. Let's just go for it. I don't know how long today is gonna be. You're gonna see some weird shit like that. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. I will try to read the chat, but when I read the chat, I go here and you can see all the behind the scenes, all the special stuff. But let's just go with it. Let's go with it. Let's make the best of it. So, photos we have. Probably won't get to them all, but let's see how many we can get to. This one, which was the thumbnail from yesterday's video. This one, thumbnail from today's video. This one, which I think is cool. And then this one, which we probably will save for last or not even get to at all. But we'll try. We'll try. Either way, in the video, I edited out these lines, and that took a long time, so I'm probably not going to do it again. Let's start with this one. Easy one, right? We're in the white room. Check the chat. Not much going on, just me. If you're watching, make sure you join the chat. Once again, if you're watching this after the fact, you can join on Mondays and actually join the chat. So, we are going to enable profile corrections. The 50mm going into overdrive for this one. I shot it 6.3 because everything's so white, I can make it all super crisp and super clean. Speaking of which, I'm going to brighten it a bit. And add some contrast. You guys let me know in the chat if anything is not working. If the audio is messy. Yeah, if my hair is rubbing against the microphone, let me know. I will fix it. I don't want to add too much clarity or dehaze because I think the photo is cooler when it's softer. In fact, I might get rid of some. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. If you're new here, welcome to the party. I wish you had started with another video because the quality gets a lot better than this, I promise. But we're just trying to make it work. The car is dirty. It's filthy. If you saw the video from yesterday, you'll see the whole story behind this. We're just driving around looking for spots, and the one spot we did happen to find was in this dude's backyard. And he was nice enough to just let us in. But it was a little bit too warm. Just gonna cool it down. One thing you can also do to get rid of some of the warmth, especially in the places like the dirt, is go into the colors, get the yellows. Let me just make, just want to make sure. And drop the yellows, and you see some of the dirt under the car already disappearing. You can go with some of the oranges as well. And that's not doing too much, it's just getting rid of the brake calipers. I don't want to do that. I want the brake calipers to be loud and proud. So, on that note, I'm going to brush them bright. And then add some color back into them. If you're curious as to where I am in Trondheim. Just for a few days. If you're in Trondheim as well, let me know. Let's go hang. Apparently you can have drinks here in public. Who would have thought? Crazy concept. What happens if I set the white balance to the dirt on the car? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I like it when it's a little more green. Maybe a little bit brighter. Not too much. Man, I wish there was music. It's a lot easier when there's music. I want the car to pop a bit more. So I'm going to add a radial filter. Correct. By the way, I'm going to shy away from using Photoshop. I'm just going to stick to Lightroom because it's just going to make everything so complicated. And I don't need that. I need a pretty safe and easy setup for today. So this is just going to have to do. But it's weird because without music and without the extra screens, it's a little bit difficult to concentrate. I'm just going to blast through. Got to turn my phone around so I'm not going to get distracted. Let's see. This is looking okay. I think some of the windows might be a bit green. I can't tell, actually. I'm going to do some cleaning up. If I was in Photoshop, I could get rid of a lot more. But I'm just going to spend some time cleaning up these. Maybe. Because I don't like this spot removal that Lightroom has. I don't think it's good enough, and it slows down everything, as you can tell already. I'm just going to leave it at that. Whatever. I got rid of some big ones. It is what it is. One thing you can do if you're too lazy to go into Photoshop and actually get rid of everything is to just sort of add like a white gradient. Since the snow is white from the bottom, just going to pull one up from here and just try to like overexpose it almost. Maybe I can choose. Nah, that's not going to work. I'm not so good with the gradient in Lightroom, but I think that does enough to just push your attention in towards the car. I want the wheels to stand out a bit more, so I'm just going to add a bit of punch to them using the radial. I always forget what that's actually called. It is radial filter. Okay. And to do that, I'm just going to add some contrast and some dehaze right about here. That's probably a little bit much. And then let's do the back one as well. Also a bit much. Hit enter twice, zoom out. We're looking okay. How we doing? All right. So we're in an okay place. I do want the sky to be white as well. So I'm going to pull in a linear gradient or linear filter from the top just to brighten it up. There we go. That gives us a much cleaner photo. And then in post, if you want, you can drag the whites on the top and bottom and sort of content aware scale them up so you get a much taller photo, which is cool for Instagram, so why not? So let's leave it there. That's pretty decent. I'm okay with that. Not super complicated. Many more things we could have done. We could have added stronger line. You know what? We will. Let's do it. Okay, let's not give up there. Let's keep pushing. I can see there's some red in the grill already that I want to get rid of. Might be pink, might be red. Scrolled too far. Come on, work with me here. Is it pink? Well, if it is, saturation. It might have been. And red. Drop the saturation. We end up getting rid of the flag. Clients typically hate that, but whatever. There's no client here. It's just us. Just me and my homies hanging out. Thank you guys, by the way, for joining. This is a weird stream. Very weird stream. We are stuck in a hotel room because we are on the move, shooting up in Trondheim right now. But I am pushing through because this has to become a good habit, and I have to keep up with it. And I want to keep up with it. I want to be here with you guys. I'm going to brush in the shoulders. Just make the car a bit stronger. Not so much. Just going to wait for this little beach ball to die down. And then let's add some clarity. Just give those shoulders a bit more punch. It is hard to tell if that did anything. Some dehaze. There we go. That's doing something. Maybe give some punch to the shadows. Not too much, just to sort of let it know who's boss. Before, after. Pretty clean. I want to give the light some direction, so I'm going to add a radial filter here from the side. See, in Photoshop, I would have just added something a little bit different, but this is going to have to work for now. All right, decent. Copy. And now we can pretty much just paste this into this photo and hopefully get the same exposure. Yeah. And I am correct. Is it just me, or is this kind of off-center? A little bit. We'll just pull this in. We'll try at least. There we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the party. This is what you get if you've just joined in now. This is a one-off. It is never really this terrible, this poorly produced, but I'm on the road and this is going to be good enough. It's not going to go too long, so you won't have to suffer for long, I promise. I guarantee you I am the one who's suffering. But we are pushing through. Just like I did with the last photo, I want to create some sharper contrasts on the car itself, just to sort of make it stand out a bit more from the environment behind it. So I'm just going to brush in the entire paint job. Matte osmium on the Polestar 1. Super, super pretty paint job. Any paint you get on the Polestar 2, you can get in matte on the Polestar 1. And I think it looks extremely pretty. It is extremely fragile though, and you have to be careful. Let's maybe make the car colder. What happens? Actually, instead of making the car colder, let's try to get rid of some saturation. And then brighten up the highlights a bit, zoom out, make sure we're happy with where this is going. Add some contrast. And then once again, brighten the car a little bit. I think that's good. I'm not going to overdo it. I don't have my big screen, so I can't check to see exactly how good it's or how well it's going. There's a lot of hassle down here, a lot of things that should be cleaned up, but once I start cleaning it up, my computer is going to get very mad at me. But let's try it anyway. Let's push this computer to the limits. There we go. Nice. Now we're talking. All right. Let's get rid of some of this mess. This dude had a barn next to his house. And if you saw the video yesterday, you'll recognize that we just walked up and knocked on the door and asked if we could shoot. And he was stoked. He was happy to have us. And you see how slow my computer's going already. Jesus. Let me know in the chat, by the way, if anything is amiss in the stream. And I'll see if I can fix it without the amenities that I typically have. That's pretty decent. Now one more. Let's just go for gold. Why not? Hopefully, oh, it's sampling over here, and that's going to be good enough. There are these, but it's just too complicated for now. So let's add a gradient here just to sort of hide some of the details, some of the crimes. And you know what? Maybe one more gradient on the top, and that's about it. I don't want to overdo this. There we go. Plain and simple. Before and after. Nice. Not so bad. Mikhail says, hi Kyle, Mikhail from Cyberphoto here. Love the gray paint against the fog. Everything works great. Stoked you're here, Mikhail. Mikhail? Am I pronouncing that right? How do I not know this? We've talked many times on the phone before, and somehow I don't know how to pronounce your name. I appreciate it, man. It's a beautiful car, and it's nice to put it in like a color-neutral place. Speaking of which, there's a lot of blue going on. This is one of my biggest pet peeves with car photography. A lot of people will shoot a neutral-colored car, but it will reflect the blue from the sky and will just absolutely kill the color of the car, I think. So let's see if we can fix that. One of the things I want to try to do is just sort of take some samples around the photo, see what it would look like in different white balances, and lo and behold, it's not as good as the one that I shot it in. So I'm going to eliminate some of the imperfections on the lens once again. the trusty 50 mil. I'm going to get rid of the yellows because the whole ground I think is yellow, either yellow or orange. So let's get rid of that. Not much happens, so I'm going to go with orange. There we go. I know, you're looking at it, you're saying, but Kyle, the brake calipers are orange. Well, the information is still saved in the photo, so we're just going to take a brush and brush them back in, basically. So since the information is still there, you can still access it with a brush, and that's looking pretty good already. Just going to brush it back in, one step at a time. And it's a little bit more gold than that, I think, so let's keep it that way. This car, by the way, is a blast. And if you didn't see the video from yesterday, I highly recommend you stop watching this live stream right now and go watch it. Just going to zoom out, take the sample from here and put it equally on the back. Jesus Christ. Brake caliper. That's a lot of struggle for one word. And there we go. We're looking pretty good. Now, I don't like the purple in the paint. I mean, I wish the paint was gone. Last time I saw this spot, there was no paint. So I was hoping it would be the same, but it wasn't. But just going to make that purple blue so everything blends in a bit better. And I'll do the same with the pink. And I'll also take away some of the saturation. I'm going to do the same with the blues. I'm going to leave a little bit of the blues. I'm going to brighten them up. Why not? Okay, so now we're doing okay. We got a pretty neutral. Mon says, how's Trondheim? It's sunny, and it doesn't show signs of stopping. It's closing in on bedtime, and it looks like I'm never going to get to sleep. But it is what it is. We're here. Let's party. In English, you can pronounce it like Michael. Okay, I will pronounce it Michael then. That is much easier. Thank you very much, man. What to do from here? What to do from here? One thing I can do, and I probably should do, like I said off the top, I don't like it when you have a neutrally colored car, that the car becomes blue or reflects like the orange from the ground. I want it to be neutrally colored, so I'm going to brush out the saturation and bring it back to neutral. And this will also give us a good brush that we can work with on making the car pop a bit better. So let's just brush the entire thing. The whole thing. And you'll know. One tip is if you want to know if the auto mask is doing okay, is to do a very extreme brush and then dial it back to what you want from there. Because the extreme changes are the ones that you'll recognize much better than the minor changes. So you can see how splotchy it is already. I'll just fix that up. That's because I have it set on fully taking away all the color. I'm gonna hit Command, or not Command, I'm just gonna hit Z. And let's get in close and get rid of some of this tighter, smaller spots. Now I don't want to hit any of the blacks on the car, because once you change the blacks, I think it starts to look a little bit weird, like Uncanny Valley. So we're just gonna keep going. Just gonna brush over it a bunch of times. And then hold space, move the photo, and just continue to brush. I know the car is getting a little bit warmer because I am getting rid of the blues. We will fix that, I promise. The car is not warm, it is plain silver, or osmium, so they call it. Sorry for the dead air, it is a little bit more obvious now because I don't have music, but it is what it is. Just gonna have to deal with it. I missed this spot here. How's everything sound, by the way? I haven't gotten much feedback from you guys. It's kind of a weird one. And I'm guessing it doesn't sound amazing. But thank you guys for being here. I'm stoked at least someone's here. How's your guys' day going? What's going on in your world? I spend my whole day in a mask sitting on an airplane. Brutal. Brutal. Okay, so if I was not so pressed for time, I could do the wheels as well, because you notice the wheels reflect a lot of the color. But I'm going to skip that today. Zoom out. There we go. It's a good place to be. Let's start playing with the temperatures a bit. Now, since I got rid of the saturation, this will only affect... Ooh, look at the contrast. That's nice. That will only affect the exposure. So let's bring back some of the saturation. And let's just make it colder. And since I got rid of the blues, the car shouldn't turn super blue. Let's just go extreme, see what happens. There we go. Much better. Much better. Dare I go a little further? Yes, but I dare not go further than this. Keep this hovered over here and we can see exactly what we've brushed and where we've missed. Some of the spots down here on the bottom edges. A little bit of beach ball of death is what it is. Just checking the chat time to time. It's not an engaging one, but I got to keep momentum going. So I robbed you guys of some live streams lately, and I don't want to keep doing that. So that's okay for our purposes. That's looking pretty decent. We'll hit enter twice. Now let's give some direction to the sun to add a bit more of an idea of where the light's coming from. We'll just start at this corner with a radial filter, and we'll just brighten it. And I think that does a pretty good job of it. I also want to throw some shade under the car, or under the photo, I guess, just so it pushes your eyes up towards the car. There we go. That sort of frames the photo better. Let's go a little bit further. That's a pretty good place to be. And I don't know if there's too much more I want to do. I might leave it at that. Let's see before. And then after. So the main thing is to balance out the color of the car, because we know the car isn't blue. The car is osmium. It's silver. And then we know this part isn't super... It's not supposed to be warm. It's just a reflection of the warm light off the ground. Because I was shooting into a shadowed area. The photo had to go either warm or cold. There was no in between, really. So we fixed that in post, kept it simple. That's going to be our photo. There we go. Let's plow through this last one. Just keep her going. Michael says, hard day packing and cleaning all day. Sold my house and have to be out next Monday. Moving to Moss in Norway. Whoa, Michael. Welcome to Norway, man. That's huge. Good for you, dude. What are you gonna do over here? Are you working in camera still, or are you moving on with your life? Either way, still to your Norway. Let's hang out. Moss is not far. Speaking of Moss, this little area is pretty cool. Let's play around. This might have to be a speed edit. Let's see what we can do. Okay, a lot of blue. First thing I'm gonna do is get rid of the blue, because the car is not blue, like I said. And this nature is not really blue. The blue also gives us a good jumping off point because the blue reflects on the car the top parts. So that's a good place to brighten up, just so we don't have to go in and brush too much later. Some of these reds you could bring back in Photoshop just by brushing red into the white parts and hard light blending it. There's not much Photoshop happening on today's stream, so we'll leave it like this. This photo, I don't want to add too much contrast. I just want to make it pop a bit. Let's see what happens here. No, let's keep some of the highlights. I don't want to make it pop too much because it's a complicated photo. But let's do some dehaze and get some of that contrast back in there. Before and after. The green is a big issue already. It's too green. It's also too yellow, so if I take the yellow and pump it down, you see it hits the greens quite a lot, and the desaturated. And then let's go in and finish off with the greens. I think they should be a little bit more blue, because it's a little more hip and trendy. I would do this a different way if I had Photoshop, but we're going to stick to Lightroom today. Going to stick to Lightroom. Guys are doing well. You're alive and well. I'm happy to see you're here. Thank you for being here, despite the weirdness of the stream. It's a slightly strange one. So the aqua hits just the rear window. There's a lot of blue in car windows for some reason. I don't want it to be so saturated. So now let's play with the colors. We can just sort of mess around in the tone curve until we find something cool. The shadows I want to be a bit cold. I was going to say colder, but the warmth looks pretty cool. No, I want to be a bit colder. So let's bump that up, and let's also take some of the greens up so it's not so... Ooh, that's too far up. It's hard to find a balance because the computer is a little bit slow. Color grading. How much of this do we want to do? Let's get a little bit risque. Let's go crazy. Let's do something weird. What do you think? Let's get a bit weird. I don't want it so red. I want it to be more warm. That's too weird. Dial it back. Let's add some of the punch back in the photo. It's a kind of like a vintage feel to it now. I feel like it should have some grain, right? I don't want to put grain. I feel like it should have grain, but I don't want to put grain in there because cameras have come so far to get rid of it. What's the point of putting it back? I'm going to add some direction to the light. Add a warm radial filter. Make it brighter. Once again, I would do this differently in Photoshop, but since we aren't using Photoshop today, I'm going to do it this way. Ooh. That hits in a very interesting way in that it seems like it warms up the trees, but it doesn't really add any warmth deeper into the photo. I think it's kind of cool. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Saturation's kind of weird. It makes it goofy. Let's go before and after. What does it look like in black and white? Since I play with a tone curve, it's going to make it not black and white, but it's kind of interesting. What if we darken it, make it super moody? How's that look? That's kind of cool, right? And now I'm just playing around. Kind of a cool look is this. I think it's a little too soft for what we're doing. You push the tone curve over and it takes the whites and makes them a little bit more blue. So it just sort of adds this like coldness to the highlights. I don't really want that. I want it to be where it is basically. And then I also want some darker corners. So let's play with the vignetting just to give some depth to the corners. Let's keep it there. Let's not go further than that. Before, after. Give it a 3. All right, let's go back and check out all the photos. Michael says, I will be working for Cyberphoto a couple months until I find a replacement. Then we'll see. Maybe some type of photography content creator or something completely else. My wife is from Norway. Hey, that makes sense. She drug you here for the same reason. I'm guessing every Norwegian drags their man here. In which case, congratulations. No. Happy you're here, Michael. I can't wait to hang out and take some photos together, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. We'll get to team up. Mats, love that green color. Mats, thank you. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. I don't think I want to do too much more. So let's go back over the photos. We started with this. It became very high key, very bright. Started from there, went to there. Started in a similar place with this second one. We made it very high key once again. Also, no Photoshop in any of these, just Lightroom. And this we went from kind of a blend of colors that I don't think belong together to something that's more cohesive, something that makes more sense. And then from this dark and rainy forest to something a little bit more fantastic, a little bit more fantasy. But I think it's kind of cool. And you know what? I'm not going to spend more time than that. Whoa, behind the scenes. Who would have thought? Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Sorry for the grainy everything, the slow everything, but this one's a weird one. I have to sort of keep the momentum. I know I skipped out on a couple of them the last few weeks. It's been Norway's national holiday, so I was busy, and sometimes it's just hard to make these happen. So I got to push through that, and that's what I'm doing today. And thank you guys for coming by. I appreciate you being here. One last check on the comments. Anyway, if you weren't here, it'll be better next time. I promise. Join next time. Mondays at 7 o'clock. Typically, today was a late one. Is what it is. But thank you for pushing through. I will see you at Sunday's video or Thursday's video. One of the videos. Anyway, peace. I will see you on the flip.